Welcome in to the football postgame show presented by TimberTech Decking and Railing and Aturo Tire, your hometown tire. And we've got Olin Kreutz, we've got Patrick Manley, and we've got a 52-21 loss by the Chicago Bears to discuss. Unfortunately, Olin, you were very close with you just overestimated how good the Bears defense will play.
Right. It's when you watch their film, when you watch the mistakes, when you watch the penalties, when you watch the execution, when you watch the details, when you watch the way they played in the fourth quarter against the Vikings. If they took that game to the Detroit Lions, you thought to yourself, well, now I know why they're 6.5-point underdogs. Now I know why there's a chance they could get blown out in Detroit. And I was telling, we talked about a pregame. I thought they would get blown out. I told some people last night I think they'll get blown out, and everybody kept looking at me like, why do you think that, Pat? And here's the deal. The film talks to you. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the film, and we saw the penalties again today, and we saw the execution problems again today, we saw the coverage problems, and we saw the lock pass rush, we saw the miscommunication, we saw the coaches not on the same page. We saw everything that we thought we saw in the fourth quarter, and the Detroit Lions took it to the Chicago Bears, put up 50 points. The thing you think about, Pat, is eventually they got we talked about this for years, right? Like the people at Hallis or whoever run it, get in a room somewhere. Like you're not doing the things the right way.
Yep.
Something's not working with what we're doing here. It's getting frustrating, right? I think they're 1-12 in their last 13 games, right? I mean, I was going to do the math on their last 5 years, but why waste my time? Oh. It has not been good, right? They have not won. Look, again, I think after this game, the Cowboys just fired Eberflus for what happened in this game, right? Because it must be his fault somehow here.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Right? So eventually everybody in that building, guys, what you're doing doesn't work, right? And look, dude, you have to grow through a young coach, and we can all see that.
Yes.
But this was a blowout from a team that just got blown out.
Yes. 73 points in the last 5 quarters. 73 points. I mean, this is the NFL. This isn't like playing an FBS school and an FB, whatever those, the different sub-league. I mean, just to say it bluntly, the Bears suck. It's terrible. The way they look the last 5 quarters, that's bad football. You just lost a division opponent by 31 points. You were all excited for the reunion of Ben Johnson going back up there.
Yes.
Let's see what this offense can do. Can they put up points? They've lost their defensive coordinator. Obviously, Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, is now the head coach of the Bears. You go up there and you show a game that looks like that. That's a bad football team. I mean, we had Mike Brown. He would come to us and say, I think he said it to the media, we suck. And that's kind of what they look like. They did. I mean, they gave up 52 points. I mean, it was a god-awful game. It's just funny because you sit here, we're all sitting across each other watching the game. We're all taking notes. And then there's a point in the game we just look at each other and we just kind of push our iPads, our notepads away.
Yeah,
and we're like, well,
preseason.
Game's over. What are we going to talk about?
Mully, you know what pissed me off? And I don't know if everybody else feels this way. I understand. I mean, they can tell me they're going to try to keep Caleb healthy.
Yeah.
Let him go out there and play. Let him get reps in the offense, right? Like I don't want to see Bagent. Mm-hmm. I don't. I don't think Bagent is your guy. So I want to see Caleb. I thought he played. I thought he crazy enough. I thought he looked better today.
I did. I don't argue that.
And here's the thing for me, Pat, and I wonder what you felt about this. If starters were on the field, I did not want to come off the field.
No, you never did.
I did not want to come off the field. I want to be out there with my guys. And I'm sure Caleb did too. So I don't know whose idea. I'd like to get a reason for taking Caleb out there.
Well, I think the reason is they could not protect him. Mm-hmm. They could no longer protect him.
Hold on, Mully. But you mean you can't protect against their second defense? They had their backups in basically the whole second half.
And I'm not going to blame Braxton Jones, or I'm not
you
going
should.
after.
He can't. But
I mean, they knew what his issues were,
right.
And they knew that he had an injury, and they knew he wasn't going to be able to play. They saw the tape of him.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's why I can't blame the player, because they created a guy to try to compete with him. They drafted 2 guys to compete with him, neither of whom was a non-scratch today. So I'm not gonna harp on that or anything. But I mean, that by the end of that game, the guy was getting sacked every time he dropped back.
I totally agree with you. I'll say this. I think he went out when it was 38 or 45-14.
Yeah.
The Bears aren't going to win anymore.
Right.
Here's my argument. You can protect them with play calling. You don't have to call the straight drop back. Let's get our offense moving in the right direction for the next game. That's why I didn't want him out of the game. Why isn't he in the game? Look, you can run the ball. You can move the pocket. You're not trying to go five-man protection, Pat.
Yep.
Get everybody out and try to score 40 points. At some point, it's just in the headset, guys. Let's get our offense on track here. Caleb has looked good. Let's not take him out of the game. He needs, what do we keep saying? He needs reps to get better in this offense.
Yes.
Right. To me, it's like short-sighted again. It's a management problem on Ben Johnson's part.
Yes.
Right? Like is no one else on the, like when he tells the O-line coach or whoever, let's take Braxton out. Let's take Caleb. Don't you think we should try to get a rhythm for next week?
Yeah.
It's a great point.
Script it like a practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have it
It's a great
scripted like
point.
a practice.
It
Just
looked
make
like
sure-
it. The Lions scripted it like a practice.
Yeah.
Against with their cards on the cards against
The
bad
Lions
team.
had 511 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
I
are the
mean,
stats? I didn't even look at that.
what? How bizarre is
52 points. Didn't score off a fumble and didn't score off the fourth down
Yes.
stop.
Yeah.
If they would have got points off of takeaways,
that? Oh my God!
oh my goodness.
I mean, you know, the Bears were in that game right up to the final seconds of the first half. It was 21-14 with them getting the ball to open the second half, and they allowing that touchdown. All of a sudden, it's 28-14. All of a sudden, you know, they're not getting. I mean, it was ridiculous given an interception, a fumble, the first of two failed fourth downs. How about new rule? Don't attempt a fourth down until you can make first downs.
But quarterback sneaking for a half yard and you don't
That's
get
bad.
it. Right?
On third down and a fourth down.
Third and fourth.
It's just not good. It's just when you watch this team, Pat, right now, right? It's like searching for an identity, right? Searching for someone, and it looked like Caleb had them rolling on all the defense, man. They couldn't stop the Lions all day. Do you think the Lions took personal last week that how much they missed Ben Johnson? They dropped 52 on you and said, we don't miss him much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the NFL. And that's the competitive nature of the NFL. And I'm sure Ben Johnson wants to come out and prove to you that they will miss him eventually. But today the Lions made a statement. And you could see them that they were going to run the score up as much as they could. It was play action and crossers and shots from the beginning. And once Jalen went out, once he got hurt, man, they could not cover these guys. Whether it was Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Laporta, misdirection, sneaking guys out into the flat. The Bears kept dropping coverage. And Dennis Allen, just as much as we mentioned him in the offseason, how excited we were to see his defense. They got beat up today, Pat.
Yeah, you know, you go from week one in Detroit. We talked to Lomas Brown in the pregame. You know, were the Lions that bad, or were the Packers that good? And then we talked about the improvements some teams make from week one to week two, and we were hoping the Bears would make that jump and the Lions wouldn't. Well, the Bears didn't make that jump, and the Lions obviously did. They took that week one loss to the Packers to heart, and they said, no, we are a good football team. We do have this talent. We're going to figure this out. And they put it on our Bears. They put it on it bad, and they embarrassed them. I mean, that's one where you go in the locker room, you just kind of have your head down, and you almost ask coaches, please don't show the tape tomorrow. I don't want to see this, but they're going to have to. I mean, it was an ugly game that, you know, I wasn't expecting to see 52 points put up on this Bears defense. I wasn't expecting that at all, especially after what I saw the offense look like for the Lions last week against the Packers. But the Lions bounced back and showed, hey, we are a damn good football team. And unfortunately, the Bears were in the way, and they didn't step up for it.
Waiting for some young guys, right? We talked about in the pregame show, some young guys to rise up and become Pro Bowl players, difference makers. And as far as the draft goes, Javon Dexter, Pickens is not here anymore. Brisker, Tyreek Stevenson, right? These young draft picks, they got to develop, Pat. You can't keep putting Band-Aids on what you missed in the draft, right? And I don't see them enough. I don't see big plays from them enough. Brisker, I didn't see him make a big hit to late in the fourth quarter today, right?
Nope.
Javon Dexter, didn't see him much. That middle of the O-line, the Lions are so worried about. Seeing like they did pretty good today, right? And the protection was there for golf. He got to get the ball out. Just don't see enough of young guys bringing their game up so the Bears can take the next step that they have to take.
And then you got 2 second-rounders that aren't even dressed out. You know, so you're talking about young guys. Are these guys going to start playing? Maybe if the Bears go here, the Cowboys next week 0-3, and maybe as it goes on, you get them more reps. But yeah, the young guys aren't stepping up. Tyreek Stevenson had a terrible game. That was a really, really rough game. And when Jalen Johnson went out, the defense got exposed more. And hopefully he's not out for too long. T.J. Edwards now with a hamstring again, which is unfortunate. I think you hurt that the second time. He's going to be out even longer. So it just doesn't look good for the Bears for the future, and it obviously didn't look good today.
We are broadcasting live from Jared Payton's flagship on the Fox in St. Charles. Come on out. We're going to be here for a while. Join the Score and Circa Sports Illinois out here today. Watch the game, hang around. The post-game show is going to be strictly on Twitch and YouTube. I think we've told you that already. But if anybody watching now has any questions, feel free to ask them on Twitch and on YouTube, and we will get to as many of those as we can. We are unfortunately unable to take anybody's phone call because we don't have that capability because we're not actually on the air and the radio. I believe the Cubs game is going on. Yeah,
Well, can we cuss on this one, though? That's what I want to know.
That's a
Can I
good
give
question.
my true feelings? Dustin, can I cuss on this one?
No,
he's
Dustin's got a nice cut to his, you know what I mean? Like, it's a good look, man. It's a good look.
yeah.
At least we're winning with something today.
Yes.
The Bears now, I mean, look,
Yes.
like you're saying, the frustration and, 21-49 their last 70 games. That is just,
Yeah.
Mully, I know it's just.
And you've been watching all these games.
Yes, you've been
having to talk about them.
Yeah, but it's like you're waiting to see the penalty stop, the details, like what they're talking about. That was my biggest problem going to this game when I said, look, the Bears are going to lose 31-17. They're going to lose by 6.5 because this was my problem. When I turned the film on, that's what I saw. And Manly, what we always say in the NFL, what's on film doesn't lie to you.
It
Right?
And this guy don't lie.
And me and you have been doing analyst work for a while, and we tell people all the time, I don't really care what you have to say. I don't want to talk. You know the coaches and players in the building?
Yes.
If you talk to them, they'll lie to you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to talk to them. I just look at the film and say, look, this is what I saw. And that's what I saw from this team that told me all offseason that they concentrated on details, intensity, and setting a standard. That's what they told me all offseason. And physical football, right? And going into the first week, everybody talks about how intense the new head coach was.
Yes.
I don't see it.
No, I mean,
I don't see it on your film.
No, and then you go last week. 12 penalties, right? So and then today was an improvement.
7.
They had 8.
Was it 8
penalties
for 50 yards?
Yeah, 8 for 50
okay.
yards.
After having what? A
But they
dozen?
improved, Mully. They improved.
Well, yeah. Well, they shaved 4. They got a third of the. No.
Yeah, but Olin, you're right. You're talking about the video. I love when the all 22 comes out because that's the real story. It's not what they talk about in post game. It's not what they talk about during the week. It's the all 22 when you get the coaches film and you can really break it down to see what they're doing and what they're doing wrong.
Yeah, and halftime you're waiting for that 2-for-1, but they come right back and score.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, they come right back and score and make it 28-14.
Well, you said it when they scored that touchdown. There were 4 minutes left, and it's like get a touchdown before the half, and then you get the ball coming out. And you said they scored too early. And I mean, I hate to say that, yeah, they scored too early, but guess what?
But that's management.
That's
like you're watching your defense versus their offense. You know Jalen Johnson's out. You run the ball or do something there to run some clock.
Yeah, take the
right?
time.
Just take a little time off that clock so they don't get another chance to score. It's just watching. Obviously, the frustration is high for everybody in Chicago. And we know patience and the coach is new and the quarterback is learning the new system. But right now, man, this is not a very good football team on film.
And you just said it. They had 2 players come back from injury that were unable to play a week ago, and it's Jalen Johnson, who is maybe their best defensive player, and T.J. Edwards. And T.J. had missed the game with a hamstring. Guess what? He left this game with a hamstring. And I believe that Jalen Johnson he missed the opener with a with a groin injury and a calf injury. They had a groin calf. I don't know how those two things are related, but he left with a groin. So now you're talking. Yeah, when's the bye week? Fifth week of the season.
First week in October.
So are we going to see these guys again
I don't
until
know.
after the bye week? I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's also an indictment on the strength staff or the training staff
Well-
when you have that many soft tissue injuries coming into a season. You know, you always
true.
when you try to get through the preseason, you want to be
Yeah.
as healthy as you can for week one. But unfortunately, the Bears are missing a lot of starters. You got Kyler Gordon out as well.
Yes.
So you've got a lot of guys with soft tissue injuries that, you know, that's the entire staff. That's not just coaching. That, you know, the training staff and the weight staff is important as well. And you need to get guys healthy and to be able to last for a long season, and they can't even start the season.
Yeah, the secondary is depleted, right? And
Yes,
it
it
looked
is.
depleted today.
Yeah.
After the Lions are going after them, we talked about going into the game. We talked about all the Bears' weapons, and then you looked at the Lions' depth chart, and you went through Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Laporta and Montgomery and Gibbs, and you're like Khalif Raymond, and you're like, wow, they got some guys over there too, right?
Did Williams just score another touchdown?
Man. Yeah.
Well, how about
That
this?
guy, free
When-
release,
when-
running down the field.
When
wide
Lomas
open.
Brown told us in pregame
Yes.
that Morton wants to stretch the field.
Yes.
He's the first name you thought of.
Yes.
Right, when he said, oh, look, we all know Coach Morton wants to stretch the field. And I think he mentioned Williams,
He did.
right? And
Yes, he
so
did.
that is a thing when you watch today, Dennis Allen, he was trying to find, man, and then he went to zone and just trying to find anything. And it's just eventually, guys, like the players, you have to communicate out there. You got to get guys covered. We got to get things right? We got to we've been through a lot of coaches here now. So we have to eventually take responsibility for what is going on the field.
I mean, Jamison Williams had 2 catches for 108 yards. One, the long of 64, the average 54 yards.
Right.
Amon-Ra St. Brown had 9 receptions, 115, averaged 12.5, 3 TDs
Wow.
with a long of 34. So you're right.
Wow.
They stretched the field. And they realized, there was a one Nation Wright. Looks like him and Brisker, miscommunication.
Yep.
Jamison Williams wide open for another touchdown. So there's a lot of problems going on. And, we praised Nation Wright last week with a pick 6, but
Yeah.
there was a reason why he was on somebody's practice squad last year.
Yeah.
And then we're saying, okay, we found another corner. I don't know if we have. He made a lot of mistakes today. Tyreek Stevenson didn't play well either, but you do have to give credit to the Lions. They had a heck of a year last year. They are a good football team. I was kind of shocked the way they played against the Packers. I'm going back to that game, but they came out and they showed they're a pretty darn good team. And then they're Super Bowl potential worthy is with that talent they have.
All right, we're going to be right back. We're going to get to all your comments and questions, and we're going to continue to talk about this horrible 52-21
Terrible.
loss by the Chicago Bears at Detroit. You're listening to the Football Postgame Show presented by TimberTech Decking and Railing and Aturo Tire. And you're not listening to it; you're watching.
Watching it.
Hopefully,
and
you're
listening.
doing
You're
both.
doing all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we will make faces and show our disappointment, and there will be real despair
Yes,
coming up.
there is a
next.
lot
We'll
right
be,
now.
We'll be right back.
You know
with
who we
all
need
of that.
today? Mr. Buffon.
Oh,
We
man.
need him right now.
The whole city needs him.
Yes, we need him.
Yes.
That's so true.
Yes.
Well said, Olin. We'll be right back here on YouTube and Twitch.
Can you imagine if you said that to him?
Welcome back to the football postgame show presented by TimberTech Decking and Railing and Atturo Tire, your hometown tire. And we should let you know that we got to do the who's hot and who's cold, and we'll get to that. Let's start with the hit of the game. I think the hit of the game has to be Deion Branch in the first quarter, popping the ball out of DeAndre Swift's hands. That was a pretty big hit, and the hit of the game, of course, is sponsored by Estwing Professional Tools, made in the USA for over 100 years, estwing.com. Now, not a lot came out of that fumble, right?
That was a three and out right after that.
Pretty good by the defense, and I can't believe I just said those words after a 51-point
That's when I was actually taking
surrender.
Notes. I'm looking at my notes here.
Yes.
That's when I actually had like detailed notes of what was going on, and then it just falls off the next page.
Yeah.
And then I think you asked for the menu.
I did ask for the menu.
You were good until then, man.
I was.
The Bears drove you to eat.
They did.
Oh boy, yeah, it drove you to do something.
Yeah,
man.
And I guess as we sit here and talk about it, you got to start with the idea, and we talked about it, how they signed another kicker to the practice squad. A guy cut by San Francisco. There was a great quote out there on social media from the wonderful, the stud head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, who basically said that you can't trust the guy, you can't keep a guy. That's why we cut the guy. The Bears signed him because I guess they're losing faith in their kicker, even though he's the most accurate in team history. But he didn't kick it out of the end zone last week, so maybe he learned his lesson, because the opening kickoff, he kicked it out of bounds.
I mean, we knew what was going to happen right after that, right?
Wasn't that like ironical?
I mean, you can't even write that.
No.
Yeah, you can. We've been writing for the last 12 years.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
We have been writing.
That's true.
It's just another chapter.
You're right. That's a bad omen, right?
right.
When you
All right, I got to tell a story. We got
kickoff?
plenty of time here, right? I
Yeah,
got to
we
tell
got
you a
tons
story
of time.
about kickers and not believing in your kicker.
please.
So I'm not going to name the name of the kicker. Maybe we can figure it out. I know who it was. But we're out in San Diego, and I'm talking about when your teammates and your coaching staff don't trust your kicker. We're out in San Diego lining up for a game-winning kick. Blake Brockermeyer is our left tackle on field goal. Big Cat's our right tackle on field goal. Blake, before the snap and kick, yells over, says, "Cat, $100 says he misses this kick." This is to win the game. This is how little trust we had in a kicker. So it is true.
Oh, my God.
It happens.
Did he hear it?
No, I don't know. And I heard it, and I'm, two people over
Yeah.
from Blake Brockermeyer, and I can't believe it. I'm about to get over the ball. That
Oh, my God.
I have a guy betting another tackle $100
That this guy.
that he's not going to make the
he's not
kick
gonna
because he
make the
had
kick.
not made a lot in practice.
And he didn't make the kick.
Oh, he made the kick.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yep. Blake lost $100, and we won the game.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But it's true. I mean,
It's true.
Guys don't trust kickers or whatever. But you can't come out the first kick and kick it out of bounds, Kara. You can't do that. I
know,
mean, that's just.
Is
Maybe there's a reason why Jake is here. Something must be going on in practice.
Is he making a point? Oh, that's a really good answer, Pat. I mean, he couldn't have meant to do that on purpose.
No,
just
there's
to-
no way. I mean,
Not a chance.
No, I mean, you don't want to give him the ball at the 40-yard
Right.
line and have him
Right.
go down 60 yards and score in 5
And
plays.
they did
And
that.
they did,
And
yes.
they did that handily. And
Yes.
then you thought that was going to go on all day. Bears had a nice opening drive. That was good. They came back and they answered that drive with their own. And you thought for a minute that, oh, this is going to be a high-scoring game. And it was, just mainly for the Lions.
Right.
But Caleb, and all right, just go back to the good things. Caleb did look good from the pocket. I talked in the pregame.
Yes.
I want to see like a methodical drive. I want to see him from the pocket, not like he was the first drive last week was impressive with him scrambling and all that, but he looked good from the pocket, hitting the top of his drop, hitting the open receiver, hitting the check down, hitting whoever the target was supposed to be. It looked efficient. It looked like a pro drive, and that was encouraging. And then the rest of the game happened, but. Yeah, there's not much more to say about that.
Well, when you go down by that much on the road,
Yeah, that's
like the pass rush becomes.
Oh,
Like it's to me the plan sometimes the Dallas and Giants game. The plan sometimes to me is like, okay, we know Braxton is not our best player on the offensive line. Just by draft picks and money, and when you get into those situations, there's got to be a chip there on the outside.
Yes.
Right? There's got to be some kind of health, and I'm sure there was. Sometimes he just got beat, but on the road at that time, the ball's even got to come out a little faster. You don't want to take those sacks, but for today, when you watch Caleb, I don't know how much today. Like I was thinking, like Caleb is. I thought he actually took a step from last week.
Yeah, he did.
I thought the ball was
Looked
coming out
better.
faster.
Yes.
We talked about in pregame, him getting the ball out, finding guys on time so they can get yards after catch. I thought he did that a lot today. And there was a point where there's a lull in what everybody was doing, but just right now as a whole, the Chicago Bears are not a good football team. They are not playing good football. They are in a whole new system. They got a whole new head coach, whole new defense coordinator. They got a lot of guys injured.
Are they worse than they were a year ago?
I mean, 52 points. I would say this, though. This loss is not on Caleb, right?
No.
And I think that's a good thing, a good sign for us that his stats were, 19 of 30, only 63%, 207 yards. But it wasn't a terrible game by Caleb in my estimation. It was the defense. You give up 52 points, right? That's just so to me, if you're evaluating Caleb, yes, I thought he played a little bit better. But overall, the team, if you're asking about the team as bad as last year, that effort looked like it. And
Right.
It sure did.
Right. I mean, if you just go by the score, right, and of the way they competed compared to last year, and people would argue that the Lions are not as good as they were last year.
Yeah.
The Bears lost. We all remember last year's Thanksgiving game in Detroit,
Yes.
but it was 23-20. Right, the Bears were right in the game all the way to the end until somebody take a timeout, somebody know how much time, whatever the problem was. But if you just go by score alone, then they are not as good as they were a year ago.
Well, the defense was significantly better a year ago. I don't
Yes.
know if that's injury related or but they've paid a lot of money to try to improve the interior of their defense. I'm not sure we've seen that.
No.
And we certainly didn't see it today.
Well, you've played two division opponents, right? We
Yes.
thought the gap was supposed to be closed. We thought the Bears were getting closer to the top, talent level and all that kind of stuff. Well, no, they don't look that way. So your answer is no. They're to me, yes, they are as bad as they were last year because they have not closed that gap that we were hoping they would close. That they would be competitive with these teams. Okay, they were competitive with Minnesota up until the fourth quarter, and then they got blown out and gave up 21 points. So, I right now, this is a bad football team. It's a very bad football team.
Do you feel that they've opened a can of worms by taking Caleb Williams out of the game, or is that it was so clearly?
Well, I just would like to know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would
What
argue,
will the coach say when asked
Right.
that question?
I don't know. I would say probably just protect him from being sacked, like
Yeah.
you were talking about.
Yeah.
And then if I was in the room, I would say, well, you can do that also
Yes.
by your play
By
calling.
your play
right?
calling.
By your play calling, you
Yes.
can also protect the quarterback. Run the ball, keep your offense. You have to be – this Bears offense has to be successful on first and second down.
Yes.
They have to be successful. That's why the penalties are killing them.
Yeah.
They don't have enough difference makers where they can overcome all these mistakes they're making, right? And some of these players have to stop. The holdings have to stop, right?
Yes, yes.
All these things, they had the high-low versus Aiden Hutchinson, all the false starts. They have to get rid of those first and foremost, right? And you just hold them to their word. That's what they talked about. That's what they talked about all offseason. That's what they said on every podcast, on every radio station you can get on. They bust
They're on
toss.
every one of them. Every
They
podcast
bust toss
from there.
Eberflus.
No
Every time
question.
they got on, they bust tossed them. And they said, look, they just weren't holding us to the standard. They just weren't making us do the things. It's so nice to have coaches that make us concentrate on the details. And then they come out and they have 20 penalties in 2 games.
Yep.
That's
inexcusable.
I see a lot better than I hear, right? I don't hear a thing you're saying, but I see what you're doing. And I see a busted sort of coverages last year was just like, well, these coaches aren't really coaching us up.
Yeah.
That's not what we heard this year. What we heard this year was they can't believe how they're being coached. But I see the same mistakes. So if you ask me, what happened there was the usual for the Bears. They didn't identify the real problems they had. They blamed problems that weren't really there, and then everybody else around said, man, look, we fixed it. Sure doesn't look fixed.
You know what's annoying to me is we're talking the same story. You're talking about you've got to be efficient on first and second down because we don't have the playmaker to make the play. I thought we drafted those guys. I thought we brought those guys in to do that, and I guess they're not doing it. So it's aggravating to keep talking about the same thing over and over. And, yeah, it's winning football to win on first down, second down, to get yourself in third down situations, but nobody has truly stepped up and made those big plays.
No.
We don't have anybody you can lean on and say, who are we looking at? Is just going to win. I don't think we have that right now.
And I would love, I would like to just do the research and just look at all the quotes that have been said. Mm-hmm. Like if I was in the building,
ChatGPT.
And let's help the Bears. If I was in the building, I would take all their quotes and put them up in front of them.
Oh, boy.
And be like, this is what you said last year.
That's a long meeting.
This is what you said, this is what you, and then, okay, guys, like eventually it's time to live up. Mm-hmm. Dude, like stay off of Twitter with all your tweets, right? Like, here I come. Oh, we're waiting. We've all been waiting, man. You know what I mean? So it's just, that's the frustrating part about this team right now. It's a lot of, we are so happy things have changed. Mm-hmm. And then why are you losing the first two games? Undisciplined, no detail, not executing.
Yes.
Why did you tell me you lost last year? Oh, because the coach didn't hold us to a standard. But this year, the standard's there. So then who is it?
Well, then you should have the quote and then play the play afterwards with somebody jumping off sides. Expose what they're doing. Nothing
better than a team meeting that everybody has to watch the film.
Yes.
Nothing better.
Yes.
Let's talk about I don't want to single out anybody or anything. I'm just very curious. We wondered how badly they were out-coached in the first game of the year because they had 3 quarters of excellence and then fell apart in the fourth quarter. Wasn't the case this time. I think you look at the stats and you look at the numbers now and you want to know, Dennis Allen, what happened with you? And I know there were injuries, but I can't help but wonder if the Bears are short a pass rusher after paying $100 million to Montez Sweat and whatever the contract was for Dayo Adembo, a lot of money. They didn't really get a lot of pressure on the quarterback.
No.
They got some, and he's not a guy that is very good running. But like the greatest moment of Montez Sweat's season was another penalty offset, and you didn't get what you saw him manage to do. Where are you at with Dennis Allen and him as a defensive coordinator? Is it unfair? We only talk about the offense, and again, big injuries on defense, 3 starters that were not in the game to end it. One couldn't play, and the other 2 got re-injured, which I'm afraid is going to indicate they'll be out another month at least.
Yeah.
I mean, your job is to keep them out of the end zone, to not score points.
Yes.
73 points in the last 5 quarters. That's inexcusable. That's you can't have that. So the Dennis Allen evaluation right now, it's bad. It's an F. I mean, what he's done is an F. I mean, you give up. You have the game in hand somewhat in the first game, right? Then you give up 21 points in the fourth quarter, and you come out and give up. Anytime you give up 30-plus points in a game as a defensive coordinator, you got to be upset and start looking in the mirror and figuring out what's going on. So I'm questioning what is going on. Do we have the guys over there to get it done? Obviously not. But 0 sacks today. 0. We talked about one of the biggest things we talked about in the pregame was the Detroit's O-line, their middle 3.
Yes.
That they were struggling. Taylor Decker came with it, didn't practice all week with an injury, their left tackle. So I was expecting pressure. I was expecting Goff to be running around. He wasn't. You talked about we might have another quarterback from the NFC as the player of the week.
Yes,
But he had 309 yards and 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns.
I know.
So that's probably going to be it. So, again,
would be 2
another
weeks
knock
running.
on Dennis Allen, another knock on him.
Bet Dak Prescott next week. Don't. I'm a joke.
That's early. That's early.
To Pat's point, right, the only thing you can go by is what you've seen in 39.5 points per game.
Yeah.
Is what we've seen from Dennis Allen's unit. And it's just hasn't.
In the division.
But you do remember when they beat up on the Dolphins in minicamp, right? Like, you see, it's just
they were so physical.
Yeah, those things. Like here's the things: when you're doing all that, you have to live up to it, right? When you're doing all that talking, when you're talking about how physical you're going to be, and it's just right now when you're watching Chicago Bears play, the things you heard in camp, the things you heard they fixed, the things you heard the direction they were moving in, We haven't seen any evidence.
Right.
There's no edge.
No.
You know what I mean? That edge of like just playing through the whistle and just whatever. There's just no edge.
And I wonder what you guys think about this. And this is what has been my opinion just from being around the NFL and playing in it. You don't make tough teams. You draft them.
Yes.
Yes.
You can't make a tough football player.
No.
Right? You can't have, I had a tough football practice, so I made whoever a tough football player. The football season is so long that whoever you are is going to come out eventually.
I remember going to practice one time in Bourbonnais when I can't think of it, the crypt keeper was the head coach, and
Mark Trestman?
yeah, and
Yep.
he said that was as physical a practice as any team has ever. They were in shells, and I was sitting there like, what? How is that humanly possible?
I was probably
Like,
at that practice.
what was he talking
I
about?
thought the Bears had state-run media when they had that one practice this year. Like everything I went on Twitter, every person.
yeah.
The hardest hitting practice I ever seen.
It was
It was
unbelievable.
unbelievable.
I know.
It was like they gave them their talking points.
But I'm wondering, is
my
it
gosh.
as simple as that? You can just say it and everybody believes it? Because
It didn't
you're
work
right.
for Mark Trestman at the end.
I haven't seen a physical team yet.
No,
and
not yet. No.
I haven't seen a team that lacks toughness. They're mostly losing because of discipline,
Yes.
because of penalties
Yes.
and execution.
Yes.
But as far as just rolling off the ball and getting after people, they said that the secondary was hitting the Dolphins receivers in 7-on-7. That's why the Dolphins were mad, right? You don't really hit in
Right,
7-on-7,
right.
and I like that. Like
Yeah.
you know me, I'm not one to complain for a little extra physicalness, but then you have to come out
and play like
and
that.
hit some.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen it. I got to go back and look at the film, but I don't remember a receiver getting hit yet in the games.
Right.
Boy. All right, we're gonna take another minute here. We're gonna gather up some of the quotes that some of the lies that are being disseminated right now.
We'll see how honest he is today after this in this postgame.
Yeah, we'll see how much responsibility he wants
Does he
to
say
take.
we suck?
No, Ben Johnson will say, I got to get better, and everybody will say he's right.
Yep.
That's how those guys take responsibility.
We will be right back on the football postgame show presented by TimberTech Decking and Railing and Aturo Tire, your hometown tire, and we'll tell you our who's hot and who's not. We'll do that when we come back, which is really exciting because I got one candidate for maybe hot, but it's also maybe.
Okay.
We'll
All right.
we'll talk about it when we're back. We'll be right back with your questions and with some quotes, hopefully. Welcome back to the football postgame show presented by TimberTech Decking and Railing and Aturo Tire, and it's time for our who's hot and who's not. Who's hot and who's cold. It's sponsored by Plumbers 911. Plumbing emergency, call the professionals available 24/7 at 1-833-PLUM-911. It felt like a breakout game. Maybe for Roma Dunze. You know, he had a couple of touchdowns, over 100 yards, had as good his game as you've seen him. There were a couple of times where you felt like, if you could make that catch. I know we're talking about some of them circus catches, some of them in traffic, but those are catches that if you want to be a great player, that's the catches you make. And he had a nice game for himself.
What number pick was he again?
9th overall.
Number 9th pick. You should catch that ball. There's a
Okay.
couple of them like
Okay.
that. That's you drafted him at 9 to be a difference maker, right? To be
Yes.
that player that you can throw it up and make that catch. Is it going to make him win the game? No, but those are plays that where he was drafted in the skill level you think you're getting, you need to come down with those. You need to snatch them. I think it was one Deion Branch or Joseph that came in and punched it out, but if he caught it cleanly early, he snatches it, it's not punched out. Does that change the game? No, but those are things you want to see him just be better than everybody else. That's why you drafted him at number 9. And there was one towards the end zone as well. He just dropped it, was wide open. But that's stuff that you want to see the playmakers, right? You want to see them that are difference makers. That then maybe Caleb in the future is like, hey, man, it's 3rd and 14 and I'm under pressure. I'm just going to throw it to him no matter what, and he's going to come down with it.
You want to hear something that's going to be talked about 10 years from now, no matter how it turns out. Number 8, Michael Penix.
Yes.
Number 9, Roma Dunze.
Yes.
Number 10, J.J. McCarthy.
Yes.
Number 11, Olu Fashanu. Number 12, Bo Nix. Talk about that lineup right there, right? But you're saying about Roma Dunze, it's a high pick, and if you're the Bears, you take, Caleb Williams a year before, and you're thinking, okay, I think a left tackle or a receiver.
Yep.
And Olu Fashanu is starting on left tackle for the Jets, right?
I mean, that's all the same draft. They take Caleb,
Right.
and then they get him a receiver.
Right.
I mean, they had DJ Moore here.
Right.
I mean, what about the left tackle position?
Right.
What about?
And eventually, Olu, they may end up right.
Yeah.
We don't know that yet.
Right.
All I'm saying
Right.
is, if you were to ask me who I would take at that moment, I'm probably taking the left tackle.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm talking about toughness and running the ball, and right. I'm not taking a receiver, and then start to talk about how we're intense and tough at camp. But Roma Dunze breakout game, right? And then you'd like to see him get more, but that's more like what was his stats, Pat?
He was 7 for 128, 18.3 yards with 2 TDs.
And I hope if Roma Dunze probably doesn't, who would listen to us, but it's more of a compliment, right? Like
Yes.
we think you can
No,
that's a great game.
That's what I'm saying. Yes,
Yeah,
I want more out of you. It's like
You could be better than that.
when a coach has stopped coaching you, I always heard this, when a coach has stopped coaching you, that's when they stop caring. So that's what I'm just saying. I want him to be better. I expect more out of him. His hands are on it. You always hear if you touch it, you can catch it. Remember my dad in the front yard always, if you can touch it, you can catch it. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, but it touched my fingertip. Well, you just got to make the catch. But that's what I want to see. I want to see greatness. I want to see that contested catch, him snatching it and bringing it in.
And as far as the cold out of that, hot and cold, I think we settled on Tyreek Stevenson as representative
The
of
defense.
some of the bad plays in the second. And we know they're under siege and they're injured. And that's sort of, this is a nod to Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen is getting killed on social media.
I think sometimes a guy can be a lightning rod because of what they've done, right? Tyreek Stevenson, now not a great game today.
Yes.
And it's cold, but he still is like the guys on the defense, right? If you roll through him, it's Tremaine Edmonds, it's Montez Sweat, it's Grady Jarrett, Jalen Johnson. He's not out there playing, but Mully always says the best ability, availability, right? So you have all these guys making all this money, right? It's kind of like when I talk about with Braxton Jones. It's like you're going to fixate on the one guy they didn't pay.
No.
Right? So
Yep.
like the guys who have been given a lot have to raise the level, and like Montez Sweat and Grady Jarrett can make Tyreek's job easier by getting to golf. Right? And we all know golf under pressure is not he's not a great quarterback.
Boy, he ran
Right.
one time where you were kind of like,
Right.
yeah.
Right, yeah, like get down before you pull something, right? So, but it's just
No, that's
it's
what
like-
the Bears do.
Yeah, it's like you said, Mully. Though it's representation, but the biggest thing for the Bears, I think, Pat, and it's interesting to me, just because we've been doing this for so long and there hasn't been a lot of success, is they don't have the ability to identify what their real problems are and get them fixed.
Right.
Right, and then people all start talking about the wrong stuff, and they just run in this circle, right? And that's why, like, when I heard them all through camp, and I complained about it for weeks in my house. You guys, anybody who lives in my house, and I kept saying, why do they keep talking about how intense and tough they are with this 7-on-7 team they built? Right? Why do they insist on talking about their intenseness and their toughness? If you want to beat that team, build the team.
Yeah, but they don't have it.
How can you intimate that that the running game is really important and you want to run the ball? And here we are again, where they had Caleb running for his life again. I don't have the individual stats in front of me, but it would appear that Swift got the vast majority of carries. I remember Monungai. Remember the coach said during the week, how do we get him running the ball? We give him the ball. We run more. I think he had one play for a negative, like a -1 yard.
He had a couple at the end, but that was a preseason game towards the end, right? Yeah, I agree. He had one carry earlier. He ended up with 7 carries, 28 yards. But
Okay.
that doesn't matter. That's the fourth quarter going against backups. That's when he had all his carries.
I had passed out at that point.
I stopped taking
I blacked
notes.
out as I was watching the game.
But DeAndre Swift was 12 rushes, 63 yards, 5.5 yards, or 5.3 yards a carry. I thought he had a better game than he did. Yes, but it wasn't great. But here's the stat I want to talk about. We're talking about who's cold, Dennis Allen. Everybody's talking about Dennis Allen being the Bears' run defense gave up 5.9 yards per carry. 5.9 yards per carry. Gibbs averaged 7.8 yards per carry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you.
Yeah.
That's not an NFL defense. I mean, that's embarrassing. That's going to be a long day in the meeting rooms tomorrow for that D line and linebackers.
But
safeties.
They spent a lot of money on their defensive line in the last 2 years, but they're not. It's not like they're bringing in run stuffers, right? I mean, Andrew Billings they brought in a few years ago, and he was hurt a lot.
But Javon Dexter's supposed to be that guy, right? He's a big three technique that's supposed to be able to stop the run.
Zach Pickens, another one.
He's gone.
They cut him, right? But it's just that when you're looking for answers, right? And it's okay. We're going to sign a few free agents and fill some holes. But we also got to get these young guys to come along. And the one we talked about today was Roma Dunze, right? And he made some plays, and you want to see him make a poor guy at 130 yards, and we're like, you got to make more plays, man. Right? The best way it goes. Right. Too much is given, much is expected, right? But there's no huge difference maker at running back, right? And Colston Loveland was supposed to be eventually he may be, but we wanted him to be a big difference maker in the middle of that field.
Did he have a catch today? I don't remember him.
I don't think he did. I'm pulling it up right now. He had one target, no catches.
Okay.
Yeah, one target, no catches, and it's just Luther Burden, right? Another one we heard a lot about, right? That
he was returning pretty well, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah,
he did okay.
He had one catch for 5 yards, right?
But here's the thing, Colston Loveland, right? First-round pick. Shouldn't you have plays dialed up for him to get the ball in his hand?
You would hope so.
If he is who you say he is.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But if you also claim that he is the greatest mismatch on the field, and that if you are playing 12, you're actually playing 11 because he's like a wide receiver. You get him down the field, and it's going to be a mismatch. He's so much bigger and stronger than any safety. I didn't see any of that.
No, and that's what Ben Johnson's strength is, right? To scheme guys open. I mean, maybe there were some calls for him, and then Caleb couldn't get there or get through the progression or whatever to him. I don't know until we see the film or talk to the coaches, but it just seems like you would have more targets for that guy if you're raving about him and the mismatches that he can bring to the field.
Yeah, just looking for somebody in these, and look, we're really early in the season, right?
Yes.
This is game 2. It hasn't been great, and really the thing that you're most disappointed in, because you knew they had to grow into these schemes and learn from Dennis Allen and communication and learn from Ben Johnson. You knew on the road after what you saw on the film that today wasn't going to be great, right? But the thing you're most disappointed in is, number one, is the penalties, right? Which is just discipline and focus and intensity and all the things they talked about. And then number 2 is, okay, where are all these young guys that are coming? Like, we need these guys to start to talk about them during games. Now, we talked about Roma Dunze, the one, but like we talked about, you get 2 pass catchers in the draft early, trade down, skip a couple. I'm always going to talk about offensive line, a couple offensive linemen, and you're just waiting to see them. You're waiting to see these guys you took that are going to make the difference in the football game.
So do we start talking about the general manager? Do we start asking why he got a contract extension? Or is that,
the fans are. Fans definitely
Ben
are.
Johnson is here, so he will eventually be making all picks. I just, it is so frustrating because you mentioned it, Olin. When you're fixing a defensive line, when you're looking for a pass rush and paying guys to rush the passer, that's because you didn't solve that problem in the draft. That's just the reality of it. That usually you use free agency to make up for problems in the draft. I think the problem with this team is that they haven't built like a hard-nosed team. They haven't exactly what you're saying. They haven't. They are a 7-on-7 team, and they got some points today as a result of that, which is nice that you finally saw that a little bit. But you're not going to win games that way.
Well, I would argue you can. Right? I would argue that I'm just wondering if they know that after the things I hear them talking about.
Oh, I see.
You see what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't build my team like that.
Yeah.
I think most people know that. I'd probably
Right.
build me and Ryan Poles would be polar opposites.
I'm on your side.
But people have won the way he's building his team. I'm not saying that's wrong. I just think that they need more guys in that building who may whisper at one point like, this tight end runs great routes. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right, just the other side of the argument. Like I don't really care about a tight end who runs routes.
Yes.
Right. If I draft a tight end and you tell me, man, you guys see him run routes, I start to say, well, wait, what position does he play? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I see the plan, right? I see that get the ball in the playmaker's hands. Caleb Williams can really throw the ball. I see it, and like you, Mully, you start to wonder, okay, maybe they're not killing themselves to get a downhill running back. So that's not who they want to be, right? They don't want to be that team, right? So, but then you hear them talk, and that's not what they're saying. That's not what they're saying.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not Luther Burden, Roma Dunze, Coco Met, Colston Loveland, DJ Moore. You see the plan.
That could work.
Right.
But Olin, if your plan is we're gonna run play action and we're gonna establish the run, and then that brings the linebackers in to cover the holes, and they're filling lane. And now we're going down the field, and we're doing I haven't seen that at all.
What Lee, I haven't seen, and like you're saying, if that's the plan, then I would say, okay, we're not building a team for that plan.
Yes.
Right, and like you're saying, I don't know. I listen to you guys all off season, and I'm listening to the Bears all off season because we do this work. And that's all I hear come out is how intense and tough they are. And then I go through their roster, and I'm saying, well, look, Joe Tooney's a great player.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say he is a guy who will get in the game. You better watch yourself.
Yeah.
Because he is coming after you all game long.
He's a technician.
Yeah, a good player. Really good player.
Technician.
Right? So it's just, I just kind of okay, I'm hearing these things that they're saying. I'm saying, well, I wonder if they know who they are.
But that's what we're talking about with Ryan Poles. You did not fix the offensive line via the draft, and so here you are now paying for the interior of the line. And where's the payoff from the amount of money that you just spent building that interior of the line?
Well, let's do the entire team though. Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah.
Has he made a splash play yet? Where's Montez
he's
Sweat
making
been
a lot of
since
money.
he started?
He's
right.
making a lot of
That's
money.
what I'm saying.
Tremaine
So all
Edmonds.
these guys
Yes.
you're getting free agency or through free agency or trading for Montez and paying him, they're not making a difference. And we always talk about in the pregame, your game plan changers, right? That's what I always look at. Who are you looking at when you see the Bears? Are you changing your game plan for? Who are you chipping? Who are you running away from? Who are you throwing away from? Jalen Johnson's one of those players. I would say that, but unfortunately he's injured now. But they don't have guys like that, and he hasn't filled those holes with those free agents that scare you, that change a game plan for an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and you're just, look, to be clear, right, we know there are only 2 games in this season. We know there's a new staff. But we're talking about the same guys that have been 1-12 in their last 13 games. Right? That's who those are the players we're talking about, the ones that we heard say a lot about the other coaching staff. A lot. No matter, they couldn't dine to get to podcasts and radio stations to say, look, the last guy was not holding me accountable.
Right.
So I couldn't do my job.
Right.
Right. And I always tell people I get a little worried when 40 millionaires are pointing at one guy and saying, look, that guy, if he would do his job, I could do mine. So it's just this thing has time to turn around. I worry about a building that's lost that much, and can they really identify what's wrong with how to get this thing moving in the right direction?
Yeah, can Ben Johnson identify that?
You can, and the thing is, again, the first thing you say about when they hire Ben Johnson is what? What's the first thing you said?
Offensive genius.
Whew, offensive genius,
Yep.
right?
Well,
he's going to out-scheme guys.
Plus 3 points.
And then who did he bring with him? Did he bring the O-line coach?
Nope.
Who did he bring?
Receivers coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks coach.
But
That's
in
his
fairness,
OC.
he tried to get Fraley, right? Didn't that was a rumor?
Yeah, but if you make it important,
Yes.
Right? If you make it important to
pay
get a guy, yes. But if you make it important enough, Hank Fraley would come.
Yes.
So all I'm saying is
You're right.
we heard a lot about, like Mully, like you're saying, run the ball, play action, all that
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
But all I saw was 7-on-7 camps. That's all. That's what they looked like they were building. And you know, maybe they'll say they're a year or two away from getting to. I don't know. But man, I'd like to get a job in the Bears building. They seem to give you some time to get that thing moving in the right direction.
A lot of time.
We got a couple of interesting quotes here. Who would you rather hear from, the quarterback or the coach?
Both.
Both.
Or we'll start with the coach. I just meant the start. We have a lot of prideful guys. It's the second game of the season. When you're around this league long enough, these games happen. It doesn't feel any better when it happens, but the good teams I've been on find a way to respond, and I know our guys will do.
All right. Well, now he set them up. Are they going to respond? How do they play against the Cowboys?
He was asked about the defensive performance. He said the explosive plays are an issue. You feel those.
Right.
And he's right. Caleb, similar to his coach, said we've got 15 more games. It's the first 2 games, and there's multiple occasions where teams rally back and go on a run.
No doubt.
And he also said on the interception, I ended up rolling up, probably need to throw it away, was just trying to make a play.
I would take probably out.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. He acknowledges that, but there's little doubt about it. All right, we'll get some more quotes from you, and we got a couple of questions already. We'll get to those. You're listening to the post-game show presented by TimberTech Decking and Railing and Aturo Tire, and we will be right back. Welcome back to the football postgame show presented by TimberTech Decking and Railing and Aturo Tire. And we have heard from Ben Johnson on the quarterback change, and I think it's kind of what you expected. He said of bringing in Tyson Bagent in the fourth quarter, he said at that point of the game, we felt we didn't have a chance to come back.
Right. And I think we talked about it earlier. And that's why, at that point in the game, I would keep Caleb in and my whole offense and try to get a rhythm heading to play Dallas next week and get more reps, live reps on the road. Pat, you know this. Nothing can replace that, right? And you can call the game to protect him from getting hit, right? You can call max protections, you can call boots, you can call sprint outs, you can call run plays, and just try to okay, we're going to go back to our first drive. Let's just run our first drive. Let's run our opening script over again.
100%. Sorry, my mic was off. No, I'm with you, Olin, because they're practice reps. It is very, very valuable for a position coach to be coaching these guys Monday morning, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, using these reps and seeing who they got. This is a first-year head coach, all new staff. They're newer players to them. The more reps you get, the more you get to know them. And okay, yes, there wasn't a chance to win, but it is valuable to get those reps so you can find out what your players are. Another thing, you can work on Caleb's cadence, right? Mm-hmm. You start throwing that out there. We've talked about the cadence. Maybe
probably not as loud. It's probably not as loud.
Right.
Maybe
that's what I'm saying. That later, you can work on the cadence later on. I mean, yes, because you're going at the backups as well. So it's like a preseason game that you can use these reps to evaluate your players and figure out what you have.
Well, you don't have guys that don't need to be evaluated. But you don't have like veteran left tackle. You don't have a veteran quarterback.
Right.
You don't have veterans where you say, well, I know
he
he can play. Let's take him out.
Yeah.
Right? Like
take Grady Jarrett out. Fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
He's done enough.
Joe Tooney, take him out.
Yes.
Right? But just the guys on offense in this, we know we're all in a brand new system. We're trying to get reps. If I'm the general manager, I'm pissed. I got to see film of Caleb Williams. I got to see film of Braxton Jones. Like Braxton Jones, I know they want to see what Theo Bennett looks like in case he could maybe take the starting job, but I don't think he can. Mm-hmm. I don't, in my opinion, he's not better than Braxton Jones.
Yeah.
So Braxton Jones needs to play more. He didn't play all last year.
Yeah.
Like you're taking reps away from guys who need reps. When you take guys out and put young guys in, Pat, I don't know what you think, but when you take guys out and put young guys in, the guys you take out are guys that don't need to be evaluated anymore.
Yes. I think they all should be evaluated. I mean, think about the receivers, their route combinations, whatever the passing game scheme you have in, to see how they run these routes, what depth are they at, all that kind of stuff for Caleb. The more reps he gets. I mean, 7-on-7's fine, right? You get the reps and you kind of – but it's not like live bullets with the pressure in front of you. It's seeing how these guys react with, a real defense in front of you, not a scout team defense. I just think it was very valuable for those guys to have that. I just being a first-year coach, I'm kind of surprised he did that because these are such valuable reps.
Question from a listener, a watcher. Where do they go from here?
Back to Soldier Field.
Yeah, that's going to be better.
I don't know. I mean, but I just didn't know.
But here's the thing. I'm glad you said that because really the opening game was bad because they blew it. But they had control of that game, and then they blew it. This is like 5 times worse. Number one, it's his first road game, so we don't even know how many issues and what came up and what went down. But that was an awful performance, and it was a team proving that their first game it didn't matter and wasn't a great judgment of who they are, and that was Detroit. Mm-hmm. Do you feel they ran up the score on Ben Johnson because he came back there and everybody's mad at him, or was it just the Bears being inept, frankly, once things started turning on them?
Well, I think Pat talked about it in the pregame. Like if we were coaching on opposite sides, I would for sure run the score up on Pat, right? Because that's what you do to your friends, right? Yes. You try to embarrass them. So, of course, I think – they heard, last week in Green Bay, they're nothing without Ben Johnson.
Yes.
They heard that all week, right? And Ben Johnson has, and we all love it, but he's been anything but humble at the microphone in the offseason, right? He's talked a lot about, he's gone at LaFleur. He's talked a lot about how great his offenses are and how great he does and all those things, and he should, right? Like that's the kind of attitude you want. But when you act like that, people are going to want to blow you out.
Yes.
And Dan Campbell wanted to blow him out. And you could tell from early play calling. And they were going after him, man. They were trying to put the ball in the end zone as much as possible.
Yeah, and then you just look at the stats, all right? When you think you're trying to blow somebody out, you think they would throw the ball a whole lot more. They actually ran the ball 2 times more than they threw it. But I think they realized their run game was killing them at 5.9 yards a clip.
They ran
over
them.
So let's just keep running them.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit more embarrassing. It's not like they were throwing it all over the – they were. He threw for 334 yards, but they ran the ball more than they threw it.
You want to hear something embarrassing? Just an embarrassing statistic for the Bears organization. Ryan Poles came here. He was hired. And what did he say at his opening news conference? He said, we want to take the North and never give it back.
Oh, boy.
But he didn't say when he wanted to take the North and not give it back. Now the Bears 3-17 in games in which Poles is the general manager in the NFC North.
Man, and you know, like circling back to did Dan Campbell run the score up? Well, it's 45-21, and it's fourth down. And,
right.
Yes,
and
that's
fourth and goal, and he goes for, yes.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
he
right.
wants
scored a touchdown.
He wants
That's
to
right.
score 50 points.
I would have been Olin. I would have been giving you the bird behind
No
my,
doubt,
my,
no
my
doubt.
play
And
sheet
I
across
would
the
have
field.
and if you did that to me, I'd be doing the same.
My play sheet would have
Right.
been there, and my finger would have been right behind it. Like,
Right. but it's just that game couldn't have gone any better for the Lions.
yes.
Right. It's and Dan Campbell now.
Perfect for the Lions.
Dan Campbell now 11-0 after
Yep.
a loss.
Yep.
Right. He does a good job with his team. And look, he's not scared to sit in the room and say this is a must-win, and tell everybody this is a must-win.
We're going
game
to win
for us.
because we have to.
We're going to
Yep.
win because we have to. So they came out, and that's why Ben Johnson goes for it on fourth down, and that's why you get stopped by the quarterback sneak, and people think it's crazy. But I know people don't like it, but when we hired him, you had to know that was coming, right? That's who they were last year in Detroit. That's what they do. They try to get their team to believe that they're always going to be aggressive. They're always going to attack people. They're always going to go for it on fourth down, even in situations where everybody thinks they're nuts. They're going to go for it, right? And then it's a quarterback sneak, and he comes right back out and runs the same play.
Have the Bears become the Lions?
Oh, yeah. The old Lions.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's
you mean,
what I was.
you mean when we used to say, let the Lions lion?
Yeah, we're Bearsing, right?
Yeah.
That's
Bearsing.
just depressing. Like
Let-
I was
let
thinking
the-
about this week that if we did get blown, like we have now become the Lions, and what made me think about that is that stat of 3-17.
Yeah, that's pretty ugly.
I mean, that's as bad as it gets, right? I mean,
that's a terrible stat.
I mean, and got an extension for that.
He got an extension
Yeah,
because Ben Johnson was happy to work with him.
Right. Because he can run over him.
Well, I mean, Ben Johnson is the football guy in the building.
That's
whether or not he's a football guy is open to discussion, but it's not George or Kevin or Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fair to conclude that after watching this team
But
for a few years.
We keep talking about when you look at the Bears, it's like you want to look at it from a view of everybody in the building. I know there's main names,
Yes.
right? But
yes.
you have to look at the whole
Yes.
picture of like eventually if this doesn't work. I mean, the first question I would ask Ben is, are you sure you put the right guys on your offensive staff, right? I mean, at 39 years old, are you sure you should hire a 30-year-old offensive coordinator or a young that makes him the mentor?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or a young quarterback coach who, Mark Brunell is the quarterback coach in Detroit. I mean, just look at Mark Brunell's resume.
Yes.
I think he played like 20 years.
Yes.
That's a lot of knowledge, right? Like, so you're going to bring, I mean, I don't know what Barrett's resume is, but it's sure not Mark Brunell's.
No.
You
Right.
know, he said something when he talked about his staff when they first put it together, and he said that he wanted guys that had been through different schemes and different situations. So you want to get a guy that's working with
Sean Payton.
Mm-hmm. You want to get a guy that has a sense of what they're trying to do. Name wherever you want to. He said that he wanted all these different ideas to be kind of run back and forth. I can't help but wonder if maybe he should have gotten more people that worked for him and that knew what he wanted, or was he could only take one guy off the staff. You weren't allowed to keep taking guys because, obviously Glenn took the offensive coordinator who was his passing game coordinator. So you can't help but wonder if he'd have been better off with more guys that he knew and knew him and could do what he wanted to run as opposed to other ideas.
And I guess what I would say to that, Pat, is if Ben Johnson would have said, okay, what do you think? I would say, well, your strength is scheme. Mm-hmm. So you would need help management.
Yes.
Right? Like game management,
Yes.
managing players, different situations that pop up. That makes you can get another scheme guy in here if you want, but just make sure you have someone helping you with that stuff.
And the idea wasn't Dennis Allen, the former head coach.
Right.
You know what I
But
mean?
they're not spending
But now
the day together, though.
he's running around trying to
That's-
put out fires.
They're on two different sides of the building, right?
Yes.
So now in the offseason, they're in staff meetings and all that kind of stuff. And yes, they still have staff meetings, but throughout the day, the offense is on one side of the building, the defense is on the other. They're not totally communicating. And Olin, what you're talking about is how you put out fires, how you deal with players. That's where I would want like a true mentor of somebody saying, have you thought about this? I've gone through this. Have you thought about that?
Right.
Does he have anybody like that?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just, no, it doesn't look like when you look at the staff, no. But it's just when you obviously we're in this mode of, when you get the score that we got today and the result we got today and what happened in the fourth quarter against the Vikings, we're in this like mode of, gosh, what is wrong? And it doesn't mean we don't recognize that they're only in week 2 and everyone's new. It just means that we've seen this picture before where don't worry about it, guys. It's just early in the season, and then next thing you know, it's not, right? It's not like I think we've heard Caleb probably say that before, right? It's just you're looking at the plan right now, and rightfully so. If you're like us questioning the plan after the thing you saw for the last 5 quarters, I think you're right to.
Yeah. I want to see how they bounce back from this, and I was hoping we kept talking about week 1 to week 2 and the improvement, and there obviously was not improvement throughout for the team. I thought Caleb played a little bit better, but for the team it was not better. Then how do you bounce back from a 52-point? You give up 52 points. I want to see what they do to the Cowboys. I want to see if this defense can bounce back.
We just watched the Cowboys win in double overtime, and I just shuddered to think. We had this conversation about Ben Johnson going back there and getting booed, and it's a sign of respect. Will Eberflus be booed come Sunday at Soldier Field? Because if he is, it wouldn't be a sign of respect. It would just be like, oh, that guy again? Boo.
He'll never say it, but he is dying to beat the Bears. After everything that was said about him.
I forgot he's
going to
say
it's just another game.
Bold.
No.
Yeah.
No. Now, hopefully his hair is done nicely, and
his beard is trimmed up.
Beard is trimmed up.
Does he get to see his barber?
I tell you right now.
Is he going to bring the Cowboys to his house for a Great Gatsby party?
Yeah, when they started Hard Knocks with him in the barber's chair, I was like, this is probably his last year. That was the first thing I thought.
He'll be the first coach fired.
He'll be the first coach fired right there. That is the omen. Right?
I mean, as a coach,
I know.
As a coach, don't you say do not put that in there?
No, I would. You would. Pat,
that's the first thing I'm saying.
Pat, the cameras wouldn't even be allowed.
No,
they wouldn't be allowed. No way.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, man. But yeah, I mean, interesting. And the Cowboys aren't a great team.
No,
winnable game.
Yep.
Yes.
Right.
Especially
winnable
at home.
game. So
at home.
Yeah.
The Boo Birds might come out early.
Well, for who?
Maybe a get-right game for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, that's what I'm
get
saying.
Everything online.
Please.
Yeah.
Can we just get a better pre and post?
Yeah.
A better post.
And they'll tell us all not to panic after. I told you guys.
Yes.
We're all good.
Well, that was his message too. Like everything's okay after the game, and then what?
Oh yeah.
Like don't
yes.
Games happen like this during the season.
That's what he said after this game.
Yeah.
That this happens.
That'll be the message we're going to hear all week, right? From the guys, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Well,
right. Hey,
make
there's
it okay.
15 more. Don't worry about 2.
Right.
But the problem is, again, that the first one was hugely disappointing, and this was significantly worse.
Well, if the first one was kind of a continuation of the meltdowns we saw last year,
right. Well,
this one was a continuation of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's
right.
It
just
very
did
good.
so. It's just
Yep.
you just want to see the cut the penalties out. Right, these penalties are killers, man.
Oh,
they've been killing
drives. Stop them.
They got to find a way to stop, the false starts, the holdings, the personal fouls. Like those have to stop. The turnovers, the takeaways have to stop. Right, you cannot win football games like that.
But it's what's astounding about it, if I may say so, is that you would think that would have been the message. And I know it was a short week, but that would have been the message every minute of every hour at Haugh last week. That, hey, we can't have this. This can't have.
You started the game with a penalty.
The first play of the game.
You kicked the ball out of bounds.
You kicked the ball out of bounds.
I mean,
by the guy who.
Cairo did that on purpose.
It went through my head. It went through my head.
You started the game kicking the ball out of bounds. I mean, how Bears? It's like I just mentioned. Are the Bears become the old Lions? Yes, they have.
Yeah, that's
the
answer.
Summit. You couldn't get it out of bounds. You didn't
right.
kick it out of bounds. You couldn't kick it out of the end zone. You pull it left out of bounds on the very first play of the game.
Did they pan to the sideline? Was Cairo also flicking off the Bears sideline when he
I don't know. See, I can kick it out. I said to kick it out of bounds, not out of the back of the end zone.
You know, we talked about Amon-Ra St. Brown and some of the stuff he said leading into the game. We know he was very tight with the offensive coordinator. What was with his fake hamstring pull? Was that a message to the coaches that he was running his own little fake play there? You know, I'm going to do a stumble bum. Or was that a reference to the Bears secondary being on one leg, having a bunch of hammies in the
I think his message was purely 9 receptions, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And then you can act like you pulled anything you want. You know, I don't know exactly what he was doing, but it was kind of like I can do whatever I want here after the day I'm having, right? And he was having a day before Jalen even went out.
Yes.
Right? They found him pretty early on Tyreek Stevenson there across the field, and those crossers off of play action were really hurting the Bears all day.
Mm-hmm. We should let everybody know that the football postgame show is presented by Timber Tech Decking and Railing and Aturo Tire. And we, of course, are still out here at a wonderful place that our buddy Jarrett Payton owns, flagship on the Fox in St. Charles. And we want to thank the fine folks at Circus Sports Illinois who are out here with us today. And, you know, it's just been fun to watch the game and hang out. It was fun until we had to watch the game. But the hanging out part's all right.
But this downtown is awesome. It's
too
bad
really
we're
nice.
sitting here watching this game when you're looking out, seeing the Fox River and everybody else walking around having a good time. And probably left at halftime, so they didn't have to watch the second half. But, yeah, this is a really cool downtown, a really cool place.
Mm-hmm. And we're gonna take a minute here, and we will be right back to close it out. A lot of people to thank and a lot of predictions to make when we come back. It's again your post-game show, football post-game show presented by TimberTech Decking and Railing and Aturo Tire. Welcome back. It is the football post-game show presented by TimberTech Decking and Railing and Aturo Tire. I am Mully, and I will be on tomorrow morning at the crack of dawn. And we've got Olin Kreutz here. Olin, you're on tomorrow, I believe, with us.
Yep.
And Patrick Manley. Patrick, you're on
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
With I believe Marshall and Layla and Mark Grody.
And Grody.
Yeah.
Grody time.
You will finally get to talk to Grody.
Can't wait.
You'll get to scratch that itch.
Ask
as
him,
it were.
ask him about the field for me, please.
I will.
Yeah,
I will.
Get his opinion of the turf. I'm going to say bad field, don't play.
Yeah, well, that's what it looked like today when you're out
Yeah.
there watching them. And I didn't hear – we didn't get to talk to Grody last week, but I heard Soldier Field wasn't too good last week either.
No.
But, man, just where do the Bears go? Right?
That's
To
the
play
big
Dallas.
question. Yep. I know that, well, they go home and play Dallas,
Yep.
as we were told, but that's a 3:15 start.
Yes.
That's kind of bad.
I'm excited. I get excited every week to put on the tape to see where the matchups are to potentially get a win. It's getting really aggravating to say potentially get a win. Dallas, just from what I've seen, just the offseason, who they've added or took away with Micah Parsons, but just watching a little bit today, the matchup doesn't look good again. And obviously with the way the Bears played, it doesn't look good. So it's another week of maybe hope, and I'm getting sick of it.
Yeah, well, we asked Lomas, right, Lomas Brown,
Yes.
former offensive lineman for the Detroit Lions.
18 years.
18 years. We asked him, we were trying to find advantages for the Bears. Where do you see that? And he talked about the defensive line with Dennis Allen scheme. He thought they possibly, especially if Taylor Decker was out, which he wasn't.
Yeah.
But if he's almost out, it means he's playing hurt.
Yep.
That the Bears D-line could possibly overwhelm them in the middle. We didn't see that today.
No.
Right? So that's just kind of things that you worry about, and we thought, okay, you take advantage of the secondary with our all the assets we have in our, wide receiver group and tight end group, and we didn't see that either. So, again, like you're saying, Pat, trying to find matchups where the Chicago Bears have the advantage, right? In Ben Johnson against a new defense coordinator in Calvin Shepard, and Aaron Glenn left, and the Lions were supposed to be on this road to where they weren't going to be anywhere near what they were last year.
Yep.
Today they looked every bit
They
the
look
part
like they're
again.
back.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think one of the more interesting elements of this game coming up is that the Dallas Cowboys have now signed Jadeveon Clowney today, I am told. And, of course, maybe they'd have been better off sticking with the guy they had.
Right.
And Micah Parsons. But no, they're spending money on some other players, but that's not ideal from a Bears perspective either.
Let me ask you this. When you get your schedule and you see who you're playing, and there's certain players in the league that, Micah Parsons is maybe the best pass rusher in the league. You see the Cowboys, you're like, ooh, I got Micah Parsons this year. Then you see him get it traded to your division, and you're like, oh, now I got him twice this year.
Well, there's also the guy who's had a lot of good games against the Bears. Kenny Clark's there now, right? They traded him
right.
Yeah, Kenny Clark.
to
Bear killer.
yeah, and it's just, we'll get into these matchups and where the Bears, and this doesn't hopefully seems like a team that they can you thought they could take advantage of a rookie quarterback in week 1 at Soldier Field, which they did for 3 quarters. But guys, you just got to start. You got to start if you're Ben Johnson and start simple with the penalties, right? Like we got to get rid of these penalties. Got to get rid of turning the ball over and just hurting ourselves, and give ourselves a chance to win in these football games.
Yeah, they did not give themselves a chance to win this game, and it was, they were very fortunate early in the game that they were still in it, frankly, because I thought that Detroit had a chance to score more points early, and they had good field position, and things worked out for the Bears. But really, when you look at a moment where the game broke for them, it might have been that 2-play sequence, 3rd and 1, where they couldn't get the quarterback sneak, followed by 4th and 1, where they couldn't get the quarterback sneak. And I don't know how that happens or why that happens, but I was surprised that there wasn't more creativity in some fashion or other. Or
why not on 3rd down? Was there more creativity? You know what I mean? Like give them a real chance.
That's a great
Or
question.
you think a
if
quarterback
you know
sneak
you're
should be able
going
to
to
get a
go,
half a
if you know that you got 2 shots at it.
I think you, Mully, you and Dustin were talking about how many, as a quarterback, how many quarterback sneaks has Caleb Williams run under center? Right? It was a good point when you guys asked it, because I tried to think about it, and I thought, okay, probably 0 in high school and college, right? And I don't know how many we saw last year. So, I mean, is this number 4 and 5 we saw today? Right? Is this the?
Not a good time to bring it up.
Oh my gosh!
And I don't know what it's either you or Dustin. I don't know who asked that, but when you asked that, I thought about it. I thought, well, gosh, that is a great point.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, it's not simple, right? But it is kind of simple. A quarterback sneak.
Right.
Shouldn't you be able to do that?
Right. Yeah, you should.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like-
especially with the
money you put in-
$150 million
yes,
in
yes.
the middle of your
Well,
offensive line.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we go to the plan again, and you start to say, okay, man, like Jonah Jackson was a great guard. He was a great left guard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a
Right.
great
It's just
point.
okay. It's like, man, I mean,
How different is that? I mean, I know it's a different stance. It
just is different, right?
Yeah,
It just is.
yeah.
Some guys are just better in a left-handed stance than a right-handed stance. Some guys really just operate really well in a position. And I'm always thinking to myself, if I see someone who's really good at something in the NFL, I just leave them there. Unless an emergency, like you have to move Joe Tween to left tackle last year because you had injuries or whatever it may be. And, I've seen guys like Zach Martin, the Cowboys, Hall of
Yes.
Fame, first
Yes.
ballot, Hall of Fame right guard, maybe one of the best ever to do it, kick out the tackle before, right? But as soon as they have somebody, they move him back because that's where he's dominant,
Yeah.
right? So it's just like you're talking about Mully, man. I mean, the quarterback sneak, the fumble, the interception, the penalties, the busted coverages. There's just a lot on film right now in the last 5 quarters.
There's a lot of mistakes, right? But I want them to be a team that can overcome those mistakes. They're not that. And we were told and we were sold that they were becoming that team. That, hey, man, we've got all this talent. Look what we've drafted. Look what all these playmakers we have. But they're not doing it. All these penalties and all these issues are still the same old Bears.
There's 15 left.
Just,
Right? That's what
I
they
like
told
your
us.
positivity. Let's
That's
go.
what they told us.
Why? When you say that, that sounds threatening. That doesn't sound positive.
Oh, yeah. There's 15 more of these?
Don't
There's
threaten me.
15 more left.
There's got to be a win in there for Ryan Poles. Maybe he can get win number 4 this week.
Oh, man.
All right. Listen, we will be back, and we will do it next week, and we'll have fun with it, and we will despair until then. We want to thank a lot of people. We want to thank all the fine folks here. Jared Payton's flagship on the Fox. Jared was out here. Always great to see
Good
him.
to see him.
In St. Charles, great place. Want to thank the
His daughter
Super
won a
Sports
soccer
people.
game today.
Did she really?
Yeah, she won. She scored
See?
a goal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's an awesome place. Flagship on the Fox,
Man
Fox River.
Man
Yes, there you go.
United could use her after losing the Manchester Derby. Let's not get into it.
We got here at, 9:30 or 8:30 and you figured it out?
Yeah, that's right.
There is Twitter. There is
River.
Google.
Chat GPT. Why is this place called? Sorry.
Thanks to our engineer, CS, for your hard work today. We appreciate it. Thanks to the Evan brothers who helped us with promotion. Evan and Evan, they're actually not brothers, but they're friends.
Yeah.
And they're wonderful people. Connor O'Donnell, thank you, buddy, for getting us twitching away and the post-game show underway. And how about our executive producer? He is Mr. Dustin William Rhodes, who came out here today.
Best in the business.
He is by far the best in the business, and you can hear him at the Pick 6 tomorrow on the
man.
on the
Can't
Mully
wait to hear
and
the
Haugh
Cubs.
show.
The Cubs takes are the best.
Oh, the Cubs takes are going to be really good. Are they winning? Or they win?
They
did
won.
win.
Won.
So they
All
won
right.
that. They
All
won
right.
that series.
Can
That's
we do
great.
that post game or no?
Yeah.
Can I
That,
jump on
that
with
would
them,
be
or-
that would probably be more fun.
I just want to go to the bleachers.
Did the Sox win, Dustina? No, the Sox lost. Sox got
man.
swept in Cleveland, so let's not get into that. But great seeing you guys. Great
Mully,
getting
good
this
seeing you.
going.
Good seeing you too.
And really a ton of fun today. And we want to thank everyone, including our sponsors. What a great sponsorship we have here on the post-game show, the football post-game show. The fine folks at Timber Tech Decking and Railing and Arturo Tire. For all that they do for us. And we will be back, and hopefully the Bears will too, but better. I mean,
They'll
try
be
to,
back.
We'll try to improve
We
as
just
well.
want to be better.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and have a great day and a great week.